What if the US dollar was no longer king? What if the US didn't have a monopoly and we entered a multipolar world? My name is David Quintieri and we are going to look at that today. I'm going to bring you the truth, even if it hurts. Today we are going to explain what's happening with Saudi, what's happening with China. We'll look at oil, we'll look at the whole US dollar system as it stands today and the changes that you will face. This is going to affect your personal investments, your economy around you, and everything you think you know. You ready? Let's go. First thing here, we got it. Saudi Arabia announces huge investment deals at Arab-China Summit. Deals came amid growing commercial and diplomatic ties between Beijing and Middle Eastern countries, including recent China-brokered rapprochement between Iran and Saudi Arabia. This is big news, okay? You gotta understand what's happening. There's a big change taking place today. Just a thought of Iran and Saudi Arabia, ideologically, they're different because of the type of Islam they believe in and so on. They're always fighting together. They're fighting a war through proxy inside of Yemen. 7 years, no relations whatsoever. And now China says, hey guys, come in the room. You got to start talking. Let's make this happen. What? I mean, just a few years ago, you never would have thought China being in the middle of that. No way. Well, China is now stepping it up. They're doing deals with everybody, including those in the Middle East. They've got the resources. A lot of the money is moving into the United Arab Emirates as well as Saudi. And so this makes a big difference. Saudi and China have been very close partners as well over the last little while. And I'm going to talk about some others today. How does that sound? Okay, let's go. Here. You could see it for yourself. Saudi Arabia announced on Sunday billions of dollars in investments between China and the Arab world on the first day of their conference. Really big stuff happening here. The oil-rich kingdom hosting the conference over 2 days, going to bring together more than 3,500 government and business officials from China and Arab countries. So you can see that this is going to be a difference, a change, billions of dollars being spent right here, right now, and this is not with the United States. The United States, the UK, Canada, they're not here. They're not involved. They've got nothing to do with this, all right? They talk about various fields: technology, agriculture, renewable energy, real estate, natural resources, and tourism. They've got the cooperation agreement, framework agreement. They are doing this and they are writing it down. They are making it happen. It's not just talk. They are actually doing it. Already we've seen some big changes with Saudi and China, development happening on both sides of this, and both sides appreciate it. All right? This meeting is an opportunity to build a shared future towards a new beneficial era for our peoples. Okay? So I think everybody should be paying attention to this. I don't want to beat a dead horse on it, but I'm just trying to give you the idea that, look, the world that we think we knew is not happening anymore. Warming Saudi and China ties are concerning the US. Riyadh not looking to rival Beijing. Security and tech collaboration adds to the energy ties. So this is going on. It's not just one thing. It's not just Saudi Arabia selling oil to China. There's so much more happening here, and that whole summit is a part of it. And so you got to realize here there's a shift happening, whether you like it or not, whether there's a petrodollar in place. The changes are happening today, and it is very clear to me, at least, what's happening. What do you think is going on? I want to know your thoughts. Don't be shy, right? Let me know. You could see it. Saudi Arabia wants to collaborate, not compete with China. The kingdom's energy minister declared, saying that he ignored Western suspicions over the growing ties. I think it's pretty interesting just to see them talking about it like this. I actually ignore it because, as a business person, now you will go where opportunity comes your way. We don't have to be facing any choice which has to do with saying either with us or with others. Do you see? They're saying, look, we got this great opportunity with China. Why would we not take it? And that's what a lot of people are saying now. I really don't blame a lot of people who are saying, I don't like the way that my city or my government is dealing with us. I don't like what they're teaching kids. I don't like what with what's happening in the education system or the healthcare system. I don't like any of that, or just one of those things. I don't like the taxes. I don't, whatever. And they're saying, I'm going to go to Dubai and live, or I'm going to go to some non-taxed country in the Caribbean. And they're just moving. They're just saying, forget it. I don't want to deal with that anymore. And I really don't blame people. I can understand why they're doing this, because the government is encroaching on people and the direction they're heading is terrible. Look at the drugs in all these cities. Look at San Francisco, perfect example, okay? And I'm picking, obviously, but let's just look at it. You have a city that attracted so much talent inside the tech industry that is just booming in a sense, and yet it's rotting. It's absolutely rotting. So you have it, one side of it is just rotten, and the other side, there's so much wealth. There's billionaires, all fantastic. But you got to look at it more nuanced, right? And you see what's been happening. Not good. Not a good sign, to say the least. And unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be changing right now. It's going to continue to get worse. Russian banker Kostin says the end of the US dollar dominance is nigh. And, you know, obviously this person has the bias there. That's very clear. But he basically said, look, this is now a hot war that was more dangerous than a Cold War. This is what the threat is. Why? Is it just talk? Well, no. Look at what's happening with Ukraine. You've basically got NATO fighting against Russia. And that, of course, means that at any second, it could go one step too far, and then it's officially the beginning of World War III. It technically is, but you know, they haven't really said that. There's been no, to my knowledge, no nuclear bombs being used and this and that, maybe in limited scope of certain things. But if it just goes all out, you know, this has been dragging on for over a year now. But what I see is that a large portion of the world is not going to use the US dollar anymore. And that's going to have some serious consequences for a lot of people. Even if there is no hot war coming your way, a currency war, even if it is just kind of countries saying, hey, we literally are not allowed to do business with the US dollar, so okay, we'll just walk away. The long historical era of the dominance of the American dollar is coming to an end. I think that time has come when China will gradually remove currency restrictions. That would be big, okay? And they, you know, obviously China's locked down, and they are, you know, utilizing the kind of peg, a loose peg to the US dollar, but maybe that's going to change. Maybe, just maybe. Russia-Iran ties are transactional and warming fast. So you have Russia, you have Iran, you have Saudi Arabia, you have China, you know, just name these countries, the big BRIC nations, as I'll show you in a second here, they're all, you know, cooperating together. And that article says, BRICS nations take on the US dollar and Western dominance. August, they're meeting. The BRICS nations are meeting, and the expectation is that they are going to officially declare the creation or the idea of some sort of currency shared between them. I don't think they're going to be unveiling a currency necessarily, but maybe they're going to say, we are going to create a currency, it's going to work in this way, and kind of loosely agree to that. And then that's going to be this, you know, the signal for money to be spent to build that and bring that into the market. Now, if you want to know everything about what happens in August, subscribe to the channel. I will be covering that like twice a day, every day around that meeting. So you've got to pay attention. Hit subscribe. It's right down next to that like button down there. And I'm going to bring you all the details that you need to know. The BRICS nations are going away from the US dollar. The BRICS nations, and by the way, BRICS as it is today, but let's just talk about how they're expanding with Saudi, all these other countries, are representing a very large portion of the global GDP, of the global GDP growth as well, of the population, mass population. And just think, when it expands, as it will, 20 countries, I think it was, want to sign on to the BRICS. They got to change that name, by the way. But the BRICS nations, I mean, we're talking even more. Yes, the US has a huge population. It's got the biggest economy in the world. But just understand of potential. Look at it 10 years down the road, 20 years, 30 years. Oh, I know what you might say. U.S. isn't going to let that happen. I never said they were going to try and let that happen. They're going to fight back, and they're going to play dirty. Both sides are going to. That's just the way it works. And that's this, this battle, this both sides. Oh, you're doing that? Tit for tat. Okay, I'm putting tariffs on you. Oh, you're going to start playing like this and you're not going to allow semiconductors? Okay, we're going to do this. Both sides are going to be attacking each other. China's looking for new partners. They're saying, okay, I see what's happening. I want new partners. The U.S. is saying, oh, you're doing that? Okay, we're going to do this. It's happening each and every day, and we got to pay attention. That's why I'm telling you, pay attention to this channel. You'll realize all the truth. Honduras opens embassy in China after cutting ties to Taiwan, as well as this. Honduras requests entry to the BRICS-led development bank on China trip. Okay, so Honduras is just one country, but you could see it's more and more and more and more. They're all doing this. They're all going away from the United States and the hegemony that it currently has. That brings me to what is inevitable. War. Tech war. China to host first supply chain expo to bolster global position amid U.S. de-risking. See that? And I think, there's a lot of expos that take place inside of China for just, all kinds of different products that China does manufacture and export. For anybody in the Amazon e-commerce space, you learn a lot about that, but this is just one more. So I think that it could be something to pay attention to. Just understand that China's making those deals and they want new partners. They're going to still do business with the United States. It's very clear. But they want new partners, and that's going to be a big change. Charting the global economy, you could see specifically with weak trade inside of China, you look at that growth stalling right now. There's several charts that are in here. The one that I wanted to show you is this. Chinese exports to most places drop. So what does that signal? Is that a China problem or is that a global problem? And in my opinion, it's more of a global problem than anything else because there isn't that demand. Lululemon doesn't need to produce, 240 million different yoga pants in the next 6 months. So, they're just not doing that. So you could see that, overall where that's been, and, each country is going to have their own, but I'm just trying to show you very clearly there is a slowdown and China's affected by that. When imports in other countries are slowing, that means, in general, China exports are slowing. So they're directly related to each other, all right? Pentagon commits $2.1 billion more to bolster Ukraine's long-term defenses. And we have seen this very clearly that more money will be spent on military. And, that is for you to decide if you like that or not. Either way, you're going to be paying for it. Iran's hypersonic missile could be a game changer in the Middle East. I think it's ridiculous to suggest that, but I just wanted to bring you this at a time in which we're seeing so much tension in this area. It's not going away anytime soon. I would hope to see peace. I would hope to see people that are, let's just say calmer and cooler and all that, but unfortunately that isn't just the case. So it's really up and down. There's a lot of mixed messaging being sent here, but I hope that we were able to clarify and you could see what's going to happen over the next little while. You want to know what to do for yourself, you got to get into the pillars of prosperity. Watch this video right now and you will understand why you need to prepare for yourself and the actions that you have to take. Click this. I'll see you there.